Yahuwah. All praises to our King. All praises to Abba Yahuwah. We appreciate all that he's doing, all that he's doing of the Torah. Is that what you think? All right, repeat with me. Baruch Yahuwah.
Baruch Yahuwah.
The Baruch one.
The Baruch one.
Baruch is Yahuwah.
Baruch is Yahuwah.
The Baruch one.
The Baruch one.
For all eternity.
For all eternity.
Baruch
Selected
atah.
us from all the people.
And gave us his Torah.
And gave us his Torah.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Giver of the Torah.
Giver of the Torah.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Our supreme one.
Our supreme one.
King of the universe.
King of the universe.
Who gave us the Torah of truth.
Who gave us the Torah of truth.
And implanted eternal life within us.
And implanted eternal life within us.
Baruch atah.
Baruch atah.
Yahuwah.
Yahuwah.
Giver of the Torah.
Giver of the Torah.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Now we have the reading of the Ten Commandments done by Mattathias. And it is so.
And it is so.
I am Yahuwah, your power, which brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim from the bed of slavery. But you shall have no other power before me. You shall not make you any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in Shemayim above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the mind beneath the earth. You shall not bow down yourself unto them, nor serve Yahuwah your power and Matella's power, visiting the iniquity of the Abbas upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that hate me and keep my commandments. Gimel, you shall not take the name of Yahuwah your power and falsify it. For Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that takes his name and enters it. Dalit, guard the Sabbath day to set it apart. As Yahuwah your power has in it, you shall not do any work. You, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your ox, nor your ass, nor any of your cattle, nor your foreigner that is within your gates, that your manservant and your maidservant may rest as well as you. And remember that you were a servant in the land of Mitzrayim, and that Yahuwah your power brought you out of their mighty hand and by a stretched out arm. Therefore, Yahuwah your power commanded you to keep the Sabbath day. Hey, esteem your Ab and your image, Yahuwah your power has commanded you, that your days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with you in the land which you shall you commit adultery. Tet, neither shall you steal. Tet, neither shall you bear false witness against your neighbor. You, neither shall you desire your neighbor's isha, neither shall you covet your neighbor's pet, his field, or his manservant, or maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. These words Yahuwah spoken to all your assembly in the mount, out of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, and of the thick darkness with a great voice. And he added no more. And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone, and delivered them unto me. And it is so.
And it is so. Leviticus chapter 6, verses 1 through 18, and it reads, These are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahuwah your power commanded to teach you, that you might do them in the land where you're going to enter and possess it, that you might fear Yahuwah your power to keep all his statutes and his commandments, which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the young men of your life, and that your young men may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Yasharal, and observe to do it, that it has promised you the land that flows with milk and honey. Shema, Yasharal. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah our supreme one. Yahuwah is a God. To what?
To bind to the mind.
To bind to the mind. You must give Torah access to your what?
Mind.
To your mind. And you shall write them upon the posts of your bed and on your gates. It shall be when Yahuwah your power shall brought you into the land which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Yaakov, to give you great cities which you did not build, houses full of all great things which you filled not, and wells dug which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not. When you and be full, then beware lest you forget Yahuwah which brought you forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, from the bed of slavery. You shall fear Yahuwah your power and serve him, and shall swear by his name. You shall not go after other, your power be counted against you, and he destroy you from off the face of the earth. You shall not tempt Yahuwah your power as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of Yahuwah your power, and his testimonies and his statutes which he has commanded you. And you shall do that which is right in the sight of Yahuwah, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the great land which Yahuwah swore unto your fathers. And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. Let us have another one.
Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Baruch Yahuwah, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. 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 Baruch you, oh my soul, and all that is within me. I will baruch your name. I will baruch your name.
Turn our attention to Yahushua, the son of Nun, chapter 1, and want to read verses 6, 7, and then we're going to recite verse 8. We have it said it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so.
All right. Verse 6, be strong and of a great courage, for to this people shall you divide for an inheritance the land, which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be you strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the Torah which Moshe my servant commanded you. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. Verse 8, as I've tailored it to fit a time of confession, repeat this with me. I will not let this scroll of the Torah.
I will not let the scroll of the Torah
Depart out of my mouth.
depart out of my mouth,
But I shall meditate therein.
but I shall meditate therein,
Yom and Layla.
Yom and Layla,
That I may observe to do.
that I may observe to do
According to all that is written in it.
according to all that is written in it.
But then I shall make my way prosperous.
But then I shall make my way prosperous,
And then I shall act wisely.
and then I shall act wisely.
Now look at your neighbor, tell your neighbor, you shall act wisely. And
And
you
you
shall
shall
act wisely. Look at your other neighbor, tell your other neighbor, you shall act wisely.
And
you shall act wisely. Take your hand and place it over your heart and say, Abba Yahuwah,
Abba
I
Yahuwah,
shall act wisely.
I shall act wisely.
Come on, Abba Yahuwah,
Abba Yahuwah,
I shall act wisely.
I shall act wisely.
I am determined
I am determined
to act wisely.
to act wisely.
Come on, I am determined
I am determined
to act wisely.
to act wisely.
Come on, I am determined
I am determined
to act wisely.
to act wisely.
And it is so.
And it is so.
And it is so. It is important that we are determined within everything of our total being to act wisely, especially when we're in a world and in a society now that people want to be foolish and really be fools. So it's important that we determine within ourselves to act wisely. We're going to go into our affirmations, and from our affirmations to our declaration, and then to our final song. And it is so.
And it is so.
All right, repeat with me. I purpose to develop my ruach.
I purpose to develop my ruach.
I purpose to walk in the light of Torah.
I purpose to walk in the light of Torah.
I am Ibram.
I am Ibram.
I am born again.
I am born again.
I am Ibram.
I am Ibram.
I have the life and nature
I have the life and nature
of Yahuwah in my ruach.
of Yahuwah in my ruach.
That life is
That life is
the Torah of Yasharal.
the Torah of Yasharal.
I purpose to walk in
I purpose to walk in
the Torah of life.
the Torah of life.
Yahuwah's Torah,
Yahuwah's Torah
Yahush,
Yahush
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's knowledge,
Yahuwah's knowledge
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's aha,
Yahuwah's aha
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's power
Yahuwah's power
is in me.
is in me.
Yahuwah's wisdom
Yahuwah's wisdom
is in me.
is in me.
He is teaching me.
He is teaching
He
me.
is leading me.
He is leading me.
I am a child of Yahuwah.
I am a child of Yahuwah.
The Ruach,
The Ruach
HaKodesh
HaKodesh
of Yahuwah in me
of Yahuwah in me
is leading me.
is leading me.
I'll follow her leading.
I'll follow her leading.
I'll walk in the Torah.
I'll walk in the Torah.
Yahush,
Yahush,
our Mashiach.
our Mashiach.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Our declaration. Repeat with me. Abba Yahuwah.
Abba Yahuwah.
In the name of Yahush.
In the name of Yahush,
Our Mashiach.
our Mashiach.
We subdue ignorance
We subdue ignorance
with Torah knowledge.
with Torah knowledge.
And through this knowledge
And through this knowledge
of Torah truth,
of Torah truth,
we claim healing,
we claim healing,
shalom,
shalom,
deliverance,
deliverance,
and salvation.
and salvation.
We decree
We decree
Torah truth
Torah truth
in the lives
in the lives
of your people,
of your people,
our people,
our people,
Yasharal.
Yasharal.
We unite,
We unite
not to fight,
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 not to fight
each other,
each other,
each other,
each other,
each other,
each other,
but the enemy
but the
of
enemy
our belief.
of our belief.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Let's have a final song, please.
Let everything, Yahuwah. Let everything praise Yahuwah. Let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. Let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. Let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. Yeah, 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 let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. Let everything that has, let everything that has breath praise Yahuwah. Yeah, 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 that has praise Yahuwah. Let everything that has praise Yahuwah. Let everything that has praise Yahuwah. Let Let everything that has breath, praise Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah. Praise Yahuwah.
Sing praises and bring praises to our King. At this time, let us bow before him and recite Tehillim 19 and 14. And it is so. May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my heart
and the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you.
be desirable before you.
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my rock,
my rock,
and my redeemer.
and my redeemer.
May the utterance of my mouth
May the utterance of my mouth
and the deliberation of my heart
and the deliberation of my heart
be desirable before you.
be desirable before you.
O Yahuwah,
O Yahuwah,
my rock,
my rock,
and my redeemer.
and my redeemer.
And it is so.
And it is so.
You may be seated in his presence. We praise the Abba once again for this opportunity to be with you at this time of the Layla on this third Yom to bring some nuggets into your life. To bring some nuggets into your life, to help inspire you, direct you, and then just help to bring some clarity in the lives of our people. It is imperative that we understand some things. Now, I want to begin, first of all, I want you to turn your attentions to Colossians chapter 1, and I want you to put your finger on verse 23. But while you're turning there, I want to bring to you what our subject is on this Layla. Our subject is what is salvation and what is needed to be saved. But as we go into this teaching, we're going to look at redemption and deliverance. Why is this important? It is important for us to understand how to answer everyone's question concerning our belief accordingly, intelligently. Sure. Now, many times I have found being in this walk and being in the position that I'm in, that sometimes we see things on the internet, we hear things that sometimes people do not really understand their salvation. And therefore we tend to do things or say things that go against how we believe and what we're supposed to believe. Some ignorantly and then some willfully. Now, with that being said, understanding our salvation. One thing I want to share is we saw a video, and I saw it twice, and I saw the full video on YouTube. And I'm sure it's been circulating on Facebook about these three brothers that were out there, and they were street preachers. Now, there are a couple of things that I want to bring out with that. What they were doing, I commend them. How they were doing it is not the right way. Now, many of you might not agree with what I'm about to say, but you have to understand we've been called to redeemers, not provokers. When you don't understand that, what ends up happening is we end up putting ourselves in a position of wasting time on people that are not worth our time or our effort. He said, go ye into the hedges, highways, and byways and do what? Compel men to come. Not just any man, but the lost sheep or the prostituting sheep of Yahshua. So as the children of power, we have no business out there in the midst of Romans / European place. This is a place, but it is a place that the Abba saw fit to bring us. Yes, it's dirty, grimy, and nasty. Yes, it's a whole lot of other descriptive words that I could use for it. But the bottom line is that we've got to understand who we are in this land. And when we understand that and understand our salvation, then we're going to take it to our people. Stop wasting time with these people. And what happened in the video, the Roman got close enough to him to snatch the microphone out of his hand. Number one, he was too close up in his face. Period. Anytime you're out street preaching, you need to have some people around you watching and willing to step in place and step in front of you to keep you from getting into the altercation. Because see, I could sense and I could feel that brother wanted to throw hands, but because he understood the delicacy of this and he understood his position. But you got to understand, we're not called to provoke them. We are called to proclaim truth to our people. So once again, I commend them on the desire, but I have to give them an F for their presentation. Because number one, these are not the Edomites. If you make them the Edomites, you make them cousins. These people ain't my cousins. They're not your cousins. They have no right to the inheritance. So it's important that we understand that. Why am I using that? Because when you understand your salvation, you understand that your responsibility is to guard it, to protect it, and also to share it with others so that our people, they will understand that salvation brings a wealth of things into our lives. That is important for us. Now, it's important to understand the sacred name of our Creator, Abba Yahuwah, commonly called Yahush, who is commonly called Jesus in the West, which is in error. It is an error. And for those that continue to promote that, talking about Jesus and Christ and talking about AKA, Yahush is AKA Jesus and AKA that Yahuwah is God, you're still in error. Because those are not his, that's not his title and that is not his name. You must understand he has a name. And in a name, there is power. And so these are things that we must get out of and begin to understand that however you present yourself and present that what you have is also, it shows your level of understanding of your salvation, your deliverance, your redemption. Are y'all following me? That is so important. All right, now the concept of salvation in most religions today has simply become airy-fairy with no real value attached to them. In Christianity, all you had to do was stand before a church of people and say, Jesus for the rest of my days. Well, the question comes in, how are we supposed to live and what sin are you asking to be forgiven of? Are y'all hearing me? By value, we mean something concrete. You have to understand concrete is substantial and you can stand on it, you can bank on it, you can put your life on it. Are you hearing me? We are not talking about here who or what saves them, though we look at that, but we are here. I want to slow down. We are looking at what does it mean to be saved, or really in the Hebrew, redeemed. Redeemed. So Christianity said we're saved, but our Hebraic way says we are redeemed. Redemption and saved are kind of synonymous, but the better word is redemption. Why better for redemption? Because most of the time, if you talk to people, then people believe that anybody can be, saved, but all people can't be redeemed. Only people that have had a price tag on them can be redeemed for a certain price. Are you hearing me? That's the difference. So that's important for us to understand. Now, who does the saving and what do we have to do to get there? Does the one doing the redemption keep changing as Christendom teaches? 1 minute the law is valid and the next it's hocus pocus, mumbo jumbo. 1 minute is one method and then a totally different method. One thing about this way of life, it's only one way. One way, and that way is etched in and is concrete. It is not changeable. That's important. Malachi 3:6 says, I am Yahuwah, I change not. Therefore, you sons of Yaakov are not consumed. That is important because he didn't say the world. He said who? Sons of Yaakov. Sons of who? Yaakov. Sons of Yaakov are not consumed. So that means specifically there is for that redemption is for, not for everybody. Are y'all following me? Once again, this is very important to bring forward. Today, Christendom has made salvation or redemption into cheap grace by saying, if you believe in Jesus, then you are redeemed or saved. Once again, this is erroneous because Jesus is nowhere in there. Are y'all following me?
Right.
Next thing. This Jesus is not the same as we know in the renewed covenant writings, whose name was Yahush, who taught his disciples to obey the Torah. In scripture, you see that when they translated and transliterated the writings, when Jesus is portrayed in the writings, you always see his disciples speaking, or you see him speaking to his disciples in a way that he is trying to promote Christianity versus promoting Torah, where you will see where he will say things or how they have tailored it or fixed it to where when he speaks, you can see that he's not speaking of the Torah, which once again, you got to remember the King James Bible goes against everything that the Abba has put in place for us as the children, as his children. So when we began to look once again in the writings and in the King James writings, you have to understand this thing was so misinterpreted that now people believe that the Torah has gone away. When out of the mouth of Yahushua himself in Matit Yahu, I believe it is 5:17, he tells us that he did not come to do away with the law of the prophets, but to fulfill it. So it's important that we understand that he didn't come to do away with it. So if he didn't come to do away with it and to fulfill it, then that's what we must do. But because of the mistranslation of other scriptures to support that, it makes it as though he and even Rabbi Shaul are coming against the very foundation of our belief. And this is why it is so important that we have the right type of information to study and to build our most precious belief upon. Because if we do not, we'll find ourselves in a position and in a place of confusion. And many times that's what happens. It's sad to say, but many times that's what ends up happening to a lot of our people. We read the writings, but we read it from a perspective that does not support us as the children of Yahshua.
Right.
And so if it supports Christianity, it's going to have you out there saying, well, Jesus and, and God, aka, no, he is not known as these things. Once again, you have to understand the redeemed of Abba Yahuwah understand this. Why? Because of relationship. Good. We're talking about salvation. What is salvation and what is needed? This is important because, as I said before, many times our people, when you come in contact with a lot of people, the first thing they believe that the only thing they have to do is change their name, put seats on, and then begin to promote or provoke instead of proclaiming. We have not been called to be provokers, but proclaimers to who? To Yahshua. So if I'm born again or I am redeemed, then I'm only going after those that are to be redeemed as I am to be redeemed, or I'm redeemed. So that is important for us to understand. All right, now, once again, the eternal security holds or holders teach that even if you backslide, eternal security guarantees you a place in Shemayim. This is simply wishful thinking and simply not true. Why? Because you got to remember, in Christianity, all you had to do was recite the sinner's prayer, which is not even a sinner's prayer, but just a prayer, a vague prayer. And then from there, you go on about your way. But you don't know anything else to do to substantiate or to build your salvation.
Right.
So now this is what people go off of. And one of the things that I found is that this is what a lot of times we tend to do. Are y'all following me?
Yeah.
You have to. You don't just become in this walk and that's it. There are things that we have to do to hold on to our deliverance, our redemption. And it has to be end to end, which means the same concept must apply as it applied to Adam, Noah, Shem, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. We cannot pick and choose and break the concept as we feel like it. There is a penalty for lawbreakers, which means they can be removed from their so-called eternal security at any time. However, in Christendom, this concept does not exist since they have little understanding of it, and they skip right past the verses that speak about this and ignore them. This is important. Why we do? Because we don't want to lose our redemption. Are you following me? You don't want to lose that. And somebody said, but I thought when we came to this, because it belongs to us, we can't lose it. Yes, you can. Ask our ancestors and our forefathers. Because of their disobedience, that's why we are where we are, because they would not hold on to their redemption, and they would not hold on to what the Abba had given them. So it is important and imperative that we hold on to what he's given us and guard it. Once again, I'm not going to go, now hear me well, into a only filled Roman/European place where my people are not, because I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time on provoking them when I'm supposed to be proclaiming to Yahshua, come out of this way of life and live and not die. Or in other words, live, come to life, and stop being in that dead place, because they're not alive. They're already dead. But in order to come alive, you must come into this way of life, and you must follow the prerequisites and the order that the Abba has set in place for us, so that this thing will be known by the other people, by our people. And so there are steps and there are things that we must do. So we're going to look at the lives of some of those that this concept we can see upon their lives. Now, in order, I'm going to read that again. Salvation or redemption, in order to be true, has to be end to end, which means the same concept must apply. In other words, what it took for Adam, what it took for Noah, what it took for Shem, what it took for Abraham, what it took for Isaac, and what it took for Yaakov, it also has to take for us. No, we do not go back and sacrifice animals. But the same dedication and the same dedication that they had, we must have it. The same energy they put into it, the same strive they took, we have to strive for that same thing. We cannot, in other words, we cannot say, well, we are here now, we don't have to do the same thing. Yes, we do. There are certain things that are in place and will remain in place. Are you following me? Very important. Now, as important for us, we are told by Yahuwah that he is the only one that delivers. Therefore, salvation or redemption is a concept of deliverance or being redeemed. Or deliverance or redemption, that's what it's leading to. Are you hearing me? That's what's important. It is so important that we understand these things that it's not funny. Now, with that being said, let's look at it here. Therefore, salvation is a concept of deliverance or being redeemed. This does mean a concrete process that we must act out or act upon. You cannot say, I'm saved, but yet you have no fruit that can be referenced to show your redemption. Once again, remember now, we are not called to provoke anybody but our own people to great works and to what? To love one another. One another. Not nobody else, hear me well. To love one another. Because something that I found is that we have a tendency to be willing to forgive everybody else, but when it comes to us, we will hold it until the cows come home. We get mad and get angry with one another, and we are ready to sever everything. And the issue comes because this is how we were indoctrinated on forgiveness to the point that we can forgive, but we can't forget. Now, I know all of us have been hurt at some point by people, especially our own people. And I know it's challenging because we all get to a point in our lives where we say, I'll forgive them, but I will never let them get close enough to me like that again to do what they've done to me. They'll never hurt me again. Are y'all following me? But not wanting to be hurt anymore. But at the same time, you got to understand, we've yet got to give them an opportunity to redeem themselves, an opportunity to show that they have changed. If they don't change and they have not shown themselves they have changed, and you keep on moving. You don't let anybody come, do you hear me, and devastate you to the point to where now it's like, oh no, I don't have no more strength to move. No, but you do have to give a person space to either prove that they're going to change or that they're going to remain the same as they are. Are you following me? These things are important. Now, let's look at this. Once again, this does mean a concrete process that we must act out. It means a physical, deliverance followed by physical security while you live until you die, minus the test that you are put through, if he, the creator, so wishes. That's important for us to understand. We cannot go, in other words, and tempt the Abba. Because the moment you tempt the Abba, because he cannot be tempted with evil. Someone will say, we many times believe tempting the Abba with evil is, I'm going to go and practice something stupid. I'm going to go, just say this, I'm going to go to church. I'm going to go to church. And I'm going there and I'm going to sit and listen for a word from them and see if they can say anything to help me to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Right. Well, you got to understand, he's not going to speak to you in there, because if he spoke to you to get out of there, he's not going to speak to you to go back in there. And you're not going to find anything in there. But we are not to tempt him with evil. In other words, we are not to put ourselves in a position to be harmed. Right. If we're going to go, remember he told us in the writings to go into the hedges, highways, and byways and compel men. Meaning, if you're going to go somewhere, go to the projects. Go when the people, especially our people, are coming out of those places to where they go and delivering plasma. Go stand at the door and wait on our people to come out of there. Where they're coming out and they don't have any hope and they're trying to do everything to make it and survive, because they are still following and feeling the results of the curse. Go there. Go out to not just there, but go out to some of these parks where they're gathered and they're doing what they do. Now, once again, it's important that you understand, if these are our people and it's for us to go after them, then you go to them, not put yourself in a position around these people that don't want it. Now, with that being said, are you going to put yourself in a position that you might have to get out of there quickly? There's a possibility, because they may not want to hear it the first time. Because remember now, these are people that are hurt. These people are angry. Not all of them, because I'm not saying everybody ain't hurt in projects, because we lived in the projects at one time. So I'm not going to stereotype people. But I am saying, if you're going to go somewhere where it is going to fit and support the writings. Going into these cities where it's nothing but European/Romans, it's not helping. And then you're telling them what they've done, but you are doing it in a way that is provoking them, because you are calling them something they are not. The one thing that is important is this: European people are not our cousins. The Romans are not our cousins. That's right. And every time you get out there and you provoke them, they're going to come at you. But if you're going to provoke somebody, provoke our people to go back and study and look at their history. Right. Provoke our people to put down Christianity and look at the truth to their salvation or their redemption, which is not going to be found in Christianity. That's where you have to understand. Provoking is when it's in a positive way. Because they're not the Edomites. Stop giving them power that does not belong to them. They are not our family. That's right. That's important. Now, another thing that's so important for us to understand, minus the test, once again, if he, the creator, so wishes, there are things that we are going to go through. And this is important to understand, that when you understand your redemption and you understand that you've been redeemed, no matter what you go through, you understand that your redemption cannot be even paid for. Nobody can take you away from him, but you can walk out of his hand. You can walk away from it, but you got a purpose in your heart that no matter what situation you find yourself in, you're not going to abandon his redemption. You're going to hold fast to it. Now, in the Torah, the concept of salvation, redemption, is a physical, concrete affair, and not a wishy-washy idea which Christendom proclaims. It is not wishy-washy. It is concrete. Yashiyah 43:11. Let's turn there. We haven't said it, so. 43:11.
And it reads, I, I am Yahuwah, and besides me, there is.
And it is so. Now, I want to deal with this verse right here. Even I am Yahuwah, and beside me there is no truth. Is that there are people believe that that verse right there denounces and renounces Yahush as his son, and that he has no part, and he has that he was created by the Romans, and that, you know, if you serve, you know, Yahuwah through him and you learn from him, then you're in error because they can't accept him. But you got to understand something. The moment we began to box Abba Yahuwah in is the moment we defeated ourselves. Because you have to understand something. He is the one that brings forth salvation, redemption, deliverance. And if we are too weak in the belief, I don't want to use the word narrow-minded, because I'm not insulting anybody. But there are times that our ignorance can be a hindrance because we feel like we know who are, like we know the back of our hand, and we don't. We can't even say we know him. We have to say we are getting to know him. Because to know him means that you have mastered everything, and you might as well just transcend and walk on up out of here. But we don't know him. We are getting to know him by studying, by praying, by hearing his voice through the writings. This is important. Why? Because you got to understand, no savior besides Yahuwah. With that being said, you got to understand his packaging of our redemption was his choice to send forth a son. His choice. His choice. And when we understand that his choice is does not always fit everybody's agenda, we'll be all right. The issue comes in, once again, is when we have so many people that are trying to get to know Abba Yahuwah in the point that this is not him. He wouldn't do that. How do you know? You must understand the writings. Each one of these, I got two of them up here. I have this one and that one. Even if we had 1 million books that talked about him, none of them could contain the knowledge and who he is. At every book and use the other the Milky Way, the other galaxies, we still wouldn't have enough places to validate it and put it in this just to give us a taste of it. Now, with that being said, we cannot make or draw conclusions off of what he has given us in book to say what he would do and not do. This was the plan he chose. But follow me as I show you this. From this, we understand Yahush is in fact Yahuwah revealed in the flesh. This is one of the things that I went back and studied and looked at, because I said, Abba Yahuwah, I want to have a better understanding of this. Because I know that you know, your way is so great, and your way is and your thoughts are higher than my thoughts, and your ways are far deeper and far wider than my ways. And I want to understand the concept of this. Yahush revealed in you, or Yahush is Yahush is your revelation. Okay, now you got to understand, Yahush is in fact Yahuwah revealed in the flesh. Let's look at the word revealed. And it's an English word, but let's just look at that word revealed real quick. The verb past tense, revealed. Past participle, revealed. Make previously unknown or secret information known to others. Yashua. It is important that we understand when that phrase is used, that Yahush is in fact Yahuwah revealed in the flesh, meaning that he has the attributes, he has his mannerisms, he has his ways, he is the epitome of him to dwell among us, so that he could identify with us and we could identify with him. It is a relationship. Anybody ever seen the movie The Boy in the Bubble? I know it's an old movie. There's a boy, young boy, and he had a disease that kept him from being able to deal with outside because of all the parasites. His immune system was really, really weak. And so John Travolta played it when he was a teenager. And he was in this bubble, and he couldn't come out of the bubble because his immune system was so fragile that if he would have just smelled the air, it would have killed him. But they kept probing and kept doing to where they got, if I'm not mistaken, deal with us without killing us. So when we refer to the phrase Yahush is in fact Yahuwah, I would encourage you, even after we read these few, that you go back in your spare time and read the whole. And let's read all the way to. Okay, let's start.
If indeed you continue in the belief, founded and steadfast, and are not moved away from the expectation of the top news which you heard, which was proclaimed to every creature under the Shemai, of which I shall became a servant, who now rejoice in my suffering, and fill up in my flesh what is lacking in Mashiach's afflictions, for the sake of his body, which is the assembly, for which I became a servant according to the administration of power, which was given to me for you, to fill the word of power, the secret which has been hidden from ages and generations, but now has been revealed to set apart ones, to whom you would desire to make known what are the riches of the esteem of this secret among the nations, warning every man and teaching every man in all wisdom, in order to present every man perfect in Mashiach Yahushua, for which I also labor, striving to the working of him who works in me in power.
And it is so.
And it is so.
Now, let's look at this again. Verily not saved to all people.
That's right.
This is where we start trying to use universalism, and we trying to tell everybody. That's where we as a people have to step back sometime, go back, look at it again from a clear perspective, clear our hearts, our minds, go back, look at it again, and read it just as it is presented. Don't add, don't take away, don't gloss over it.
Right.
Look at it for what it is, for what is being said. This is important. Why? Because you got to understand the great news was given to who? Yasharal. To Yasharal. Now, of which I, Paul, became a servant, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you, and fill up in my flesh what is lacking in Mashiach's afflictions, for the sake of his body, which is the assembly. So we are his assembly. His body is his assembly. We are the congregation. So it is imperative and important, if we are his congregation, it is imperative that we give Abba Yahuwah praise, but we give thanks to Abba Yahuwah for him being an example to us on how we are to govern our lives. That is important for us to understand. Now, for which I became a servant. Now, he's a servant of what? Of the assembly. Because his responsibility is to what? Is to minister, to proclaim, and to educate, and to worship, and to witness. That's what he was to do. To bring them to a place to understand their salvation or redemption was concrete, as long as they stayed in that what he had presented to them. To feel the word of Yahuwah. The secret which has been hidden, he's revealed himself through Yahush to us. This is this away. This is why we cannot afford to do things that will basically turn around and show that we still don't understand the gift of redemption by Yahuwah through Yahush to us.